Hey, it's me, Jeanette, from MYBC Consulting, who loves once a month to hijack Andy's Facebook page. Hi,
Hi
Andy.
there. How are you?
Well, you know what, Andy? I'm drier today because yesterday,
Oh my
as
goodness.
a lot
Oh
of
my
people in
goodness.
the Langley area know, I'm JD Farms brand ambassador.
Yes.
And yesterday was the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce golf tournament at Pagoda Ridge, and we had a little atmospheric river come through.
Oh, yes. That would be very, 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 very wet. Oh,
Yeah, and we're dried off now. I could have used a hot cup of coffee or two. So what is
yes.
that coffee cup all about?
That's Shelley Roche from Tiny Kittens, and she does rescue feral cat rescue, and she's here in Fort Langley. So I had the pleasure of knowing her, and she does some really great work. Yeah, Tiny
Cute
Kittens.
mug.
Yeah, take a look. Take a look at their website.
Okay, awesome. So up, down, sideways, back and forth. What the heck are the real estate numbers doing these days?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah. And we've had two interest rate increases, and possibly a third one in July. It's been very, very devastating on the market. We've seen a lot of people get in trouble here, and it's an excellent time to be a buyer. But I think the buyers are all kind of waiting to see what they want to do. But here, I'll share my screen.
Oh, please do.
And
Because I always come up with great questions connected to your stats.
yes. Okay, so yes, here we are. And here, let's take a look at our first statistic. So the sales in the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, there was 1360 sales during the month of May, and that was a 16.9% decrease from April of the previous month, and a 54% decrease from May of 2021. So basically, the market has dropped right off. Supply of new inventory in May 2022 increased by only 2.2% from April, and there was 3631 new listings. It was a decrease of 7.5% compared to May of 2021, and that means that total month-end active inventory was 14.8% higher than April of 2022. So all the last 2 years of me complaining about enough inventory, well, we now have inventory, but the buyers are definitely hanging back. This is another graph that shows that. So you can see it in May 2021, we had the 2951 sales and almost 4,000 listings. And then right now, our listing count is a little bit less, but our sales count is 26. It's well less than half of May of 2021. And then of course this is April, and you can see its sales going down. So the volume of sales has really drastically changed. Our inventory levels are about the same, but this is going to start getting to be a bigger number as we proceed.
So my question that I have to you, because, I think like someone who's going to definitely 100% one day hire you, is to have that patience as you go out, because there's so much inventory, to make sure that you're booking the right quantity amount of time with someone like yourself to go look at all this inventory to make sure you truly are buying what you want.
Yes, yeah. I mean, buyers now have they have the luxury of waiting. Multiple offers, all that kind of stuff is gone to the wayside, and that you can go look at many homes and not have to make a decision right away. And yeah, I will show you everything. I will show you everything that I possibly can. So this is our sales to active listing ratio, and this chart I look at quite a bit. And what it tells me is not so much about the how pricing is doing, but the actual volatility of the marketplace. And you can see here, and I think I talked about this in December, we were up to about 90% of sales against listings. So that meant that pretty well anything that was even on the market was sold in the month of December. And since then we've seen this significant drop. right down to 22%. So 22% of all listings are selling for the month of May. And that means that in a balanced market, that is between 12 and 20%. So here we are in this balanced market, and we're coming back up into a balanced market. We're not in a buyer's market, but it's like being in a very fast car and getting to our destination very, very quickly, as this graph is showing us. But I do expect to see a bit of a bounce at some point. You know, you always see a bit of a bounce here, and so this straight line is way too fast. Like this straight line up, so it will balance itself out. So, and then here's our Fraser Valley Real Estate Board months of inventory, all asset classes. And again, you know, that 22% that I was talking about last month, or here it is here in a different form. And you can see how our inventory is climbing almost up into a balanced market. And that, but this is such a straight line that we're maybe next month, we're going to be up in here somewhere. And there'll be lots of inventory to choose from, which means that probably prices are going to have to be reflective. I am seeing a lot of price reductions at this time. If you're a buyer, keep your eyes open. And again, this is our inventory again, breaking it down to asset class. So here we've got condominiums, still very much below the balanced market. Townhouses, again, below balanced market, but the detached homes are definitely in a balanced market now. And that is the detached homes were the ones that went up the greatest in price. And that was the one that now is a bit flooding the market. We're still looking pretty good with condos and townhouses.
So if I can just ask a question about that particular slide. So if I owned a townhouse, and because the market is still needing, it looks like though that particular type of property to meet the market need, be a great time to kind of move myself up into that house, because I'd find that house that so that's how I would read that slide. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, very much so, because the detached homes are the ones that are hurting the most right now. And the condominium market and the townhouse market is still relatively good, because it has a lot more affordability to it. And but still it doesn't sell overnight, but your chance of gaining on the percentages between townhouses and houses are pretty good right now.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thank you, Andy.
And again, here you can see this is the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board Housing Price Index. We actually have an HPI, and this is what our climb up in detached homes. And now this is our second month of declining pricing. And here, it's not quite as bad with townhouses, and condominiums is a little bit flatter, but I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to follow suit. And then here we're looking at Langley. So Langley is still, in terms of being a seller, still a little bit more of a tighter market. Probably by next month, we'll be in the balanced market with detached homes. We'll see, but right now it's still needing more and more inventory. And I am seeing that in Walnut Grove and a little bit in Fort Langley, that there's still not quite enough inventory. And then, of course, here's our MLS statistics, HPI for Langley. And you can see townhouses got that little step up last month, went up from 935,000 average price to 946,500. Condominiums came down a little from 645,900 to 640, but so it is on a downward scale. Whereas you can see that detached housing is definitely on a lot more of a downward momentum. So that's it. That's the statistics. That's where we're sitting. It's going to be interesting to see what the Feds do in July. Whether there is a forecast of 0.75. That would be 0.75% interest hike, whereas we've had 2 interest rate hikes of 0.5%. And that is to battle inflation. Mainly, our oil and gas prices are so high, and food pricing is so high. that this is what's causing that. Yeah, here, let me unstop my share. And so that from there, but at the same time, we're seeing this inflation, and we're seeing interest rates go up. But there was a really interesting statistic that came out this morning that the unemployment rate is at its lowest level, 5.1%. So the amount of people actually working is growing, and that the amount of people unemployed are that's one of the lowest numbers ever. So we're seeing a lot of people working and getting back into the marketplace. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to affect our other interest rates and inflation and everything else. But on one side, we see a booming economy coming around, and on the other side, we see a little bit too much inflation and higher interest rates. And where it all evens out, that's your guess is as good as mine.
Well, and there's so much, of course, civically. This fall, we're going into an election again with, our civic, our cities.
Yes.
And I know in the Langley area, through some of my friends that have homes and things, there is the SkyTrain project that is making its way out here. So who knows, people may be hanging on because finally they're going to be able to commute again. I just know I love living in Langley. So if you're watching this and you want a great, thriving community, whether you want to live in the Brookswood area where there's still lots of good horse areas, or the thriving city, or out in Fort Langley, live amongst historic area, Andy will find you the house that you're going to love, because I've lived here with my family since 1976. And I know I love and adore the Langley area.
I really honestly believe that Langley is the place to be. It has such a wide variety of styles of living. You've got acreages, you've got new development, you can have something that's brand new and modern, and very close to a lot of amenities, or you can spread out on acreage, or you've got established communities like Walnut Grove and Brookswood, and then of course you've got places like Fort Langley with larger lots and historic value. So there is a wide variety here, and something is suitable for everybody here in Langley, and also to the schools, the everything else that goes with raising your kids is here and is of excellent quality.
So we're going to take a little hiatus in the month of July. We're going to enjoy a month of summer. We'll be back in August for another edition of where I hijack Andy's Facebook page for edition of for Andy Talks Real Estate. I'm just so excited about summer coming, Andy. I'm thinking about all the good stuff that, in July, mark your calendars, the Fort Langley Jazz
Festival. Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. So Andy, I'll see you back in August, and let's enjoy the month of July of summer out there.
Yes, it's going to be sunny, warm, and awesome. So
absolutely.
Take care. We'll see you. Thank you, Jeanette.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.